The Nordic peoples of ancient times had a complex and fascinating religious belief system with various gods and goddesses representing different aspects of nature and human life. One such deity was Njord, the god of the sea and fertility. In this video, we will explore how the ancient Nordic peoples worshipped and honored Njord. Njord's origin and role in Nordic mythology. Njord was originally a god of the Vanir, a group of deities associated with nature, fertility, and wisdom. In Nordic mythology, he was eventually adopted into the pantheon of the Aesir, the more warlike gods associated with power and strength. Njord was primarily associated with the sea and fertility, and he was often invoked by fishermen and sailors to ensure good catches and safe voyages. Worship and rituals. There is limited information about how the ancient Nordic peoples worshipped Njord, as much of their religious practices were not recorded in writing. However, it is believed that offerings of fish and other sea creatures were made to Njord to honor his role as the god of the sea. It is also believed that Njord was often honored in rituals associated with fertility, such as those performed during the spring and summer months when crops were planted and harvested. Njord in art and literature. Njord is often depicted in Nordic art, such as the famous Oseberg ship burial in Norway, which featured elaborate carvings of Nordic deities, including Njord. He is also mentioned in several Nordic sagas, including the Prose Edda and the Poetic Edda, which describe his role as the god of the sea and fertility. Legacy and modern influence. Today, Njord remains an important figure in modern Nordic paganism, which seeks to revive and continue the religious practices of the ancient Nordic peoples. His role as the god of the sea and fertility continues to inspire modern worshippers who honor him in their rituals and ceremonies. Despite the lack of written records about the worship of Njord, his presence can be seen in the art and literature of the ancient Nordic peoples. His depiction in carvings and on items such as the Oseberg ship burial highlights his importance in their belief system. Additionally, his role in Nordic sagas further solidifies his significance in their mythology. Njord's influence can also be seen in modern culture, particularly in the popularity of Nordic-inspired stories and mythology. This has led to an increased interest in Nordic paganism and the revival of ancient religious practices, including the worship of Njord. As the god of the sea and fertility, he was often honored through offerings of fish and other sea creatures and in rituals associated with fertility. Today, he remains an important figure in modern Nordic paganism, serving as a link to the rich cultural heritage of the Nordic peoples. Overall, Njord is an important figure in the religious and cultural history of the Nordic peoples. As we continue to explore and understand their rich cultural heritage, his role as the god of the sea and fertility will remain a fascinating and significant part of Nordic mythology.